over, under, boom, come around, slide, pull, slide. Okay, and so what's happening here is I've got a over, under, wherever you want, okay? Realistically, I'm not just going to grab his arm and push it over. It's just not gonna happen, okay? So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna shift from the over, under to the gable grip right behind his tricep, and I'm gonna bring my elbow down. And when I take my weight off the back of his shoulder and dip my head in, that's gonna make his elbow pop in. And now I can make that roll. The misconceptions of this choke is everyone thinks it's like this, all right? And that's not actually true at all. What we wanna do is keep this lock, take this hand, slide it down to the elbow and pull it straight. Now his elbow is off, his head's often sitting on the mat. So when I readjust, I'm gonna bring myself in, but I'm picking my elbow up so the crown of his head is sitting in my sternum. Now this slides where I lock up the rear naked choke grip, and I can barely begin to squeeze, and he taps already, okay? Now let's say Mark is smart, and so immediately when I'm trying to make these transitions, he reaches in and grabs his leg. I'm most likely never gonna pull that arm out. So I'm gonna keep this hooked nice and tight on that tricep. That's gonna be my anchor point. And these legs are gonna switch. So I'm gonna switch my hips and come up. And I'm pulling this over, over, over until I get his shoulder in between my breasticles. And I come here. This hand can be all over the place, whatever. I'm going to take my hand and elbow and pull it that way as I drop my left hip. And what I'm doing basically is a one-arm doors, all right? So we want to pay attention to those concepts because obviously nothing's perfect in jiu-jitsu, but where our hands are and where his shoulder is going to dictate what move we're actually going to use against our opponent. But as you can see, I controlled the flow and I controlled the pace of the match, okay? He may have moved his arm at one time, I still stayed in control of the position, came back to the top position. In worst case scenario, I'm still on top. I'm still on top.